Hello, my lovely. You didn't get to where you are in your business by doing shit the way that everybody else does. And you know that what got you to where you are now is not going to get you to where you want to be. And if you are listening to this podcast, it's because you want to be the go to for what you do better than anyone else. Your brilliance is the niche. Being you, that bold, unfuckwithable presence that you've secretly been craving to set free, she is in there. And that means you will have to burn some old bridges down. And attracting your people will also repel those who are not for you. Fucking hooray. Becoming a force of nature business and brand means no more Miss People Pleaser, no more hiding your turbo brain, no more dimming down jack shit. And if you have ever been told to tone it down as a woman with ADHD, it's time to tone your shit all the way the fuck back up. That is how you create unstoppable momentum in your business and visibility that is something you've been avoiding, but that you truly want. This podcast is about stepping into your upgrade, watering down anything, never change the fucking world. You were not born to be forgettable. And as one of my all-time favorite quotes says, well-behaved women rarely make history, and nothing about you or me is well-behaved, at least not anymore. In today's episode, we are going to discuss what is a force of nature business and brand, how pricing your offers has zero to do with you as a human being and what it does have to do with. And I wanted to finish up with a little personal story about a concert I went to with my favorite band, Johnnyswim, and what was said during the VIP Q&A that I thought we all needed to hear from time to time that absolutely applies in business. So from one force of nature to another, turn the volume up to an 11 and let's get fucking feral. Welcome back to the ADHD Entrepreneu, the podcast for ADHD forces of nature who refuse to play by the rules and are ready to show up in full Technicolor because beige is fucking boring and have a force of nature business and brand. My name is Carrie. I'm your host, and I am the ADHD business alchemist and strategist for ADHD women. And if you are new here, welcome. I'm really glad that you found the podcast. If this episode has an impact on you, could you do me a quick favor? If you're listening on Apple or Spotify, if you could subscribe, leave a 5-star review telling me what you took away from your favorite episode, turn on the notifications and come back on Wednesdays. And if you're watching on YouTube, if you could subscribe, that way you'll see my cute little face every week. So I understand your ADHD professionally and personally. I have it myself. So each episode will be a few topics so that I don't bore your fucking face off. And our brains tend to work in trains of thought. So that's how my episodes roll in a way that speaks to our feral funhouse of a brain. So we are going to get on the first train here. And this is something I am finally rolling out. I've been kind of putting this stuff together behind the scenes and connecting the dots of this, but it's not a offer. It's not anything that is for you to purchase or buy. It is about how I help clients, my people, what I help you do the best. I have been soul searching. I have been looking over my business. I have been looking at my clients. I have been looking at what do I do that is different, that is one of a kind in the way that I personally do it. And I've used the term force of nature for a very long time. Since I was younger, I've called my friends a force of nature. I may have even mentioned this in another episode. I recorded a whole bunch of episodes in a row. And so I looked back at the topic and I don't think that I brought up the force of nature mastermind, but I may have. And that's the new high-level mastermind that I'm launching, which literally it has 0 people in it. And I'm telling you that because I'm trying the what I call the anti-launch method, right? So I'm branded it, I have put it out there, and really what I'm talking about is the things that I do better than anybody else that help what that help my clients to have a brand and a business that feels like a force of nature to them and to their clients, and their clients want to come back over and over again. And I thought, what are those things that I love? I love to do that. I love to do with my clients and am the best at. And one of the things that came up, funny enough, was I really love to do branding, like the actual visuals and things like that. But it isn't so much about I'm going to now suddenly teach branding. It's more like, well, let me get into what a force of nature business looks like, and I'll start with that. So it's your brand, your self belief, your brilliance, and your messaging, right? But the messaging is a little bit different. So I'm going to kind of go through what this looks like just at a really high level so that you'll understand. You're going to just start seeing me talk about these elements a lot more, because what I have had to undo in myself, which is I put a reel out uh last week. No, yes, earlier in the week, last week, about feeling like Sally. And I think I know I spoke about it here on the podcast too. And what was happening was I would be taking a course or looking at a friend, or with ADHD, where we're constantly trying to figure things out, right? That's how our brain works. We want to dissect it and what does work. But what I had been doing for a really long time, until probably over the last 6 months, really, was putting the parts and pieces of the people that I adored, that were successful and had kind of the type of business that I really wanted to have, thinking like that would be the way. And I did that really more since my diagnosis and before that, which was over 2 years ago. And so over the last 6 months or so, I've shared that I've been working a little bit behind the scenes to clean up some of my offers, get rid of some of my offers, really create these offers that are very high impact and have a very big effect on my clients' businesses. And what I realized is I had a client send this to me today, and I was like, oh my gosh, yes, this is the vibe. And she's like, I don't build the table, I build the fucking house. And I was like, yes, ma'am, we do. That is what I help women do, build this bigger thing. And this particular client had one salon. She's built a second salon. She has put into practice something that some other people are like, this is a bullshit business model, right? But it has worked for her beautifully, so beautifully. She's opened up a second salon, and she's just really going for certain things that she thought she had to wait for other people to help her do. And one of the things we talked about in the Neurospicy Sisterhood Mastermind is essentially not waiting for somebody to respond to you, to maybe want to collaborate with you or talk with you about something that they're doing, to take the idea that you're already having in the first place, that you were kind of lined up with, and running with it in your own way. And so this is something that I had so much trouble with myself. And as we've been kind of working on this with this client, and I've been just seeing these big things unfolding for my clients, not like little things, but like whoppers, like industry changing shit. Not saying that like anecdotally, like truly changing certain industries in certain ways. And that's really what the clients that come into my, sphere tend to do. So what does this kind of brand look like? Well, to me, and from the perspective of what I've helped other people do, and everything I do is customized to ADHD brains, and it's malleable. But I want to have these pieces where I say these are the things that are going to help you create a brand that is going to stop being beige, start being in Technicolor, and sticking out like a sore thumb. And that is what I love helping people create. And every brand and every person is so different. And that's what's so cool, is really the brand is you, your loves, your passions, your belief systems, those kind of things, but bringing that visual to it, making it bold, making it magnetic, making it unmistakably you. Visuals and your presence, the way you say things, the way that you put things into the world that are different and unique than anybody else. Because when you tap into that, you are no longer going to blend in. That is what makes you one of one. You're not here to be the best. You're here to be the only when it comes to this very specific thing, this brilliant thing that you do so well. So that was the first part. I'm like, I helped this client with a little bit of branding, which I fucking love, but I'm not going to turn into a brand person. But what I can do is help with that energy, that vibe, help them draw that out of themselves and see it as a whole so they can truly create that feeling that they want for their fuck yes clients. And I'm great at this. And I have held it back. I have held it back. I haven't talked about it. It's something that I love and I'm like, this needs to be an element. I need to stop pretending I don't love this. I create all of my own branding. I love doing the visuals. All of those things make my heart so fucking happy. But it isn't about me creating that visual for them. Is helping them figure out the vibe. And then if they want to use a service provider who's going to help them put together that vibe, they know what to fucking say to the person. This is what I want to do. So I can help them figure out what that look and feel is and how that is all poured into everything they do. You know, when you see something that has been created by them, you know it's fucking them. When I started putting the pictures of me and the cake with my face in the cake, that's so me. When I say feral, not joking, right? So that was a big turning point for me because I didn't want boring branding photos. That's just not my jam. So it was just really fun to finally put that last little bit in there. And so that was something I want to help others do. So the second part is self-belief. It is that unshakable energy, the confidence. You don't need fucking permission from anybody. You lead, you decide, you are the authority, and you speak that way. It's not, well, I hope that you send me a message. That is not the energy. That is not the bold energy. And it isn't about telling people what to do. One of the things with authority, that's why I call it self-belief. One of the things with authority is with ADHD, we rebel against authority. Authority doesn't mean I'm telling you everything to do. Authority means you know your shit. You know what you are talking about, and you can speak to what you are talking about with unwavering fucking confidence. You lead that way, and you help others lead themselves that way too, right? The third part is your brilliance. And what this is making money doing only what you love. You are not here to do it all. And if you are still in that point in your business, whether you're a coach, a mentor, a service provider, course creator, whatever, if you are trying to throw offers out there based on what, looking around and being reactionary, that ain't it. It is about doing the things you love the most that gets your clients huge transformations that are different than anybody else. And the key factor in that is you. Nobody else is you. So you are going to have that spin. Do people teach a lot of the same or similar things out there? Sure. Certain underlying basic business principles are the same, but how we teach it, how we share it, I take everything I learn and think, how can I give this to women who have ADHD to make this feel fucking amazing and simple, simple, simple. Less is more. Because in our brains, more is more and more complicated is more. That's how it works. That if I want to make more money, I have to work more hours and more 24. Nope. Untrue. Bullshit. Lies. We are telling ourselves. It's not true. So this is about fully being in that zone that you love being in with those people you love being in it with, and no more being a generalist. You're a fucking specialist. You're a specialist. I paused there to let you hear, what is it you just thought in your brain? Did you think, no, I'm not? Or did you think, oh man, I am really generalizing? Or no, I got that specialist energy. None of those things are wrong. I just want you to take note of what you thought when I paused there. And the last thing is your messaging. You want to talk to your dream clients like a fucking siren song. When they see your shit, when they see what you do, they're like, yes, baby, that's my person. It's magnetic, it's bold, And one of the things I have known to be true since I started in sales when I was in my early fucking 20s is that one of the things that you can do to get people to put themselves in the shoes of somebody who may want to work with you is by using the word you. You can't say their name because clearly we can't say 1,000 people's names in our content or what we're sharing. But when you base a lot of what you share about in you language, even if you are giving an example, drawing from your own personal experience, and then turning around and talking about them, what it would look like for them, what it would look like where they are right now, but not in a way that like really horribly agitates pain points, because that just pulls in victim energy type people, and that's not what we're here for. This is a way that does the selling for you, and you don't even sound like you're selling anything. And I know that for people with ADHD, we deal with rejection sensitivity. So having this messaging and then having clear messaging when you are speaking to somebody about what you do, because it is not about the name of your offer. I wrote a piece of content and it actually made me laugh when I thought about it. Nobody is going, damn, I really wish there wasn't a mastermind that had a call at 12 o'clock p.m. Pacific on a Tuesday. No, you want fix my shit. I need to fix my shit. Oh, she fixes this shit. This is her specialty. This is her specialty. She's a specialist in that. This is what she does best. Just testimonials with people saying over and over again, this is what she does well. I want to talk to her. Be her, right? The person. You may at first rebel against this because you feel like you are closing doors, closing your ability to earn income. But I have said this before on the podcast, the narrower you get, the wider the net becomes. The more clearly you're speaking to one thing that you do for even a certain type of person that you do it for, the more others are going to hear you loud and clear because you are so clear and so focused. It is a big way to change the game in your fucking business. So the next train has to do with pricing. And one of the things that I notice about clients is that they will base their pricing on something that has nothing to do with what they should be basing their pricing on. It is not about pricing your value as a human being. Not at all. One of the things that we hear, and I'll get into this in a moment, is, charge what you're worth. Oh my God. For us, that's like, no, thank you. I will charge $5 because for some at certain points, our self-esteem is not quite there yet. And that's okay. But we definitely let our pricing reflect that, right? One of my favorite Andy Grammer songs is not actually a song. It's more spoken than sung. It's called I Need a New Money. And the line, I put it in a reel the other day, and it says, you're telling me that we've agreed to tie self-worth to what we are paid. Take that in. What it isn't saying is don't charge for your work. That's transformational that you provide because that is what you're pricing, by the way. That is what you're pricing. What that sentence is saying is who you are as a human, your inherent worth is not about your business or a client saying yes or a certain kind of offer that just came out of you and it's just so brilliant. It is not about that. Listen to this next statement and really, really take it in. It is time for you to stop tying your self-worth to math. Your pricing is not a personality contest. Your offers are not going to be for everyone, and that is okay. Self-doubt as later diagnosed ADHD women, like I was saying a moment ago, is an issue when we continually hear that phrase, charge your worth, charge your worth, charge your worth. And you think that means your worth as a human somehow being tied to a fucking dollar bill or dollar bill, however we want to put the accent on there. So I want you to start internalizing something today. What you charge for your services based on the transformation you are providing. And I may have mentioned this before. I know I've mentioned it in content, in email, and other areas. But I want to hammer this point home really clearly from my mouth to your ear holes. You are whole as you are, and you don't need anything else, including a dollar sign or your business or another human being to validate that shit. Like ever. You don't need that. For a while in your business, you may want that. You may want that validation. You may want that validation from a coach. You may need to borrow some of the faith that somebody else has in you until you feel it. I tell a lot of my clients, I'm like, I'm going to brainwash you into believing in yourself if you stick around me long enough. It's true. I will. I will absolutely fucking do that. Some people don't like it and they will run away because they don't like thinking that they can actually believe in themselves, and it's okay to do that, and it's okay to speak about what you're really good at. That is part of what we are here to do, is help people in the way we help them best. But you're whole as you are, and you don't need anything else to validate that fact. And on a musical note, here's the last train choo-choo. This is a personal story from last week. Johnnyswim is my favorite band. If you read my love note, if you have been on my stories, if you know anything about me, if not, if you're new here, my favorite band is Johnnyswim. No, not Teddy Swims. He's newer, but Johnnyswim is a husband and wife. And the wife is Donna Summer's daughter, and their husband, and they have 3 kids, and they are a traveling band, and they're literally some of the nicest people you'll ever meet. So last week we went to see their concert because anytime they tour and they're local, they're here. I will absolutely go to the show because I love their music. It just speaks to my soul in a different way, kind of like Andy Grammer's music does, like I mentioned earlier. So the hub surprised me with early access, with a VIP, and that included a Q&A. And in the Q&A, there was this girl who was about 12. She stepped forward because her parents said, "This is our daughter, Adelina." Adelina is a Johnnyswim song. They named their daughter after this song. So that was really cool. So the young girl decided, they said, "Did you have a question?" And she said, "Yes. What kind of advice do you have for young musicians or songwriters? And what would you tell me about becoming this? What advice would you give me?" And Amanda, the wife of the duo, answered this in a way that felt like it applies to also you and me, to business. Because really, if you think about it, being a musician or being a band is also owning a business, right? When you think about people like Pink or Alanis Morissette or, any of the, big musician, Taylor Swift, all that, part of what they do is run a big fucking business, right? So this to me spoke to our business, and it actually made my eyes leak. I guess that's called crying. I got leaky eye syndrome. But she said to this girl, and it just stuck me in the field, hit me in the feels, and I'm like, I'm going to talk about this on the podcast because I feel that this is important to hear. What she said was, take the chance. When you're nervous or scared, it's about being brave enough to say yes to things that scare you. She talked about how she was very, very shy. She's not really anymore, but she was very shy. So she said to be bold. And if you can continue, this is the part that choked me up. If you can continue to enjoy it each step of the way, that's it. That is what it is about the whole time. Enjoy it. Every step of the way, enjoy it. I know that sounds redundant, but I mean it. And with that, I am going to end today's episode. If you love this episode, tell a friend. Let me know what you loved most about it. Remember the 5-star review, the subscribing, all that stuff I talked about at the beginning. And I love to connect with people who listen to the podcast. I am a connection queen, and I just love to be in community with other women who are fucking feral badasses. So I always love to hear from you. And until next week, I see you. I love you. And I'm fucking rooting for you always. And stay feral. Bye. Oh, hey, you're still here. Thank you for listening all the way to the end. Be sure to check out the show notes for all the ways to follow me. And of course, my goal is to find and help as many women with ADHD get away from the 9-to-5 grind, because it's just not designed for our neurospicy brilliance, and there are other ways to do life. So by subscribing, sharing, and giving a 5-star review, it helps other women find this podcast as well. And if there's an episode you really love, please feel free to take a screenshot and share it on your social and tag me in it so that I can thank you personally. Until next time, you spicy brained unicorn. Bye.